Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Aidsel and welcome to Indian Racing Community Tier 1 and we are back for another round. It's been a while since we went league racing due to some desync issues with the F1 game, but it sure does feel good to be back on the F1 game. I will be your commentator for this evening and joining me in the commentary box is Ink. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Itzel. Glad to be back with racing after that desync issue we were facing. We were off for like 2 weeks
Yeah.
with no racing, so it's glad to be back.
Feels good to be back, and we're kicking off the, let's say, the second half of the season, if you will, because we technically we'll call it a mid-season break. We'll call second half of the season. And we're kicking it off with a notorious race on the F1 game, which is Canada, which has the tendency to really infuriate some drivers. But before we hop into the server, let's go ahead and have a quick look at the track itself. So, Montreal, Canada, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, 4.3 kilometers, 14 turns, and most notably that final chicane with the Wall of Champions always looming over people's heads. This should be a real challenge in terms of keeping it on track. Let's go ahead and quickly hop into the hot lap to see what the optimum lap around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve looks like.
The circuit Gio Villeneuve as we head down to turn 1, bring the car over to the right hand side, hook it in for turn 1, hit all the inside curve as you can as you trail brake deep into turn 2 and move the car over to the left for turn 3, the infamous Sebastian Vettel corner. Hook the car in again, eat as much inside curve as possible, get as close to the wall as possible as you go through 4 and 5 and head down to turn 6 now, the second chicane of 3 in this first sector. Make sure to eat a lot of the inside curve and get as close to the wall as you can before exiting down a small straight before we head down to turn 7. Clip both the curbs, make sure to avoid the orange though, as this can disrupt your car as we head down to the hairpin, an infamous corner, one where a lot of overtaking action can happen, but also important to get your braking right and prevent yourself from understeering wide. As you come on to the back straight, DRS open, this will also be a crucial overtaking point as we come down to the dreaded final chicane. Important to cut both curbs here to bring a car over to the left hand side, brake at approximately 100-meter board, clip both curbs and make sure not to get too close to the Wall of Champions on the outside, and you come across the line for a lap of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
So welcome back. That was the hot lap video. Really fun track. I actually enjoy Circuit Gilles Villeneuve a lot. It's one of those tracks which I've always liked on previous F1 games. I've been playing F1 games for a couple of years now, so Circuit Gilles Villeneuve always stood out, and Canada was always a favorite of mine. And in real life, it produces a lot of racing action as well. I believe, Ink, you can chip in a little bit on this, considering you drove this track earlier today in the Tier 3 race that happened.
Yeah, you might be one of the rare drivers who enjoy it on this game actually, because in this game the curbs are deadly, especially the last chicane. So 90% of the drivers found this track to be the worst among the calendar. And Tier 3 race was actually chaotic with 2 safety cars and lot of front wing donations. And it was difficult to follow one another on the DRS train. And the tire degradation was very low though. So there are a lot of plenty of overtakes actually. So looking forward to the Tier 1 race where the best drivers in IRC will be competing against each other in round 9.
Absolutely, I look forward to it as well. But just before we hop into the server, I'm just going to adjust my settings a little bit so we don't have too many graphical issues. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so the qualifying has gotten underway, so we'll quickly go ahead and hop into the game where we'll have a look at what the boys have to muster up. And I'm just seeing this before everyone else, but it looks like we should have an interesting quali session because it's wet.
Wow. It's going to be much more dramatic now.
Absolutely. I believe the Tier 2 race yesterday had quite a lot of wet driving in it, so it should be pretty interesting. If based on that, it should be pretty fun to see what's going to occur today.
Yep. They say, like, I heard actually it was a mixed condition. It was like sometimes it was wet, sometimes it was dry. So even though it was wet, the soft tires were much more faster. And So looking forward to this race and this qualifying session, what happens.
So we do have
As
to
we can see,
apologize for something before we get the session underway. We were unable to get you the up-to-date telemetry today because of a small issue on our side. We do apologize, but regardless of that, we should hope that the racing more than compensates for any kind of technical issues, because Tier 1 really is the absolute best that IRC has to offer in terms of raw pace. And if anything, they'll be relishing this challenge of driving in the wet. What are you thinking?
It is in fact the best tier in IRC, because as far as I've heard, the whole season there's only been one VSC, I guess. There's no safety car at all. That is the level of driving they're doing in this tier, which is extremely good actually.
Yep. Oops. Yeah, just having a little bit of issue with the camera settings, so just trying to sort that out in the background. No issues though.
Yep, we just saw Shastry do a hot lap, not hot lap, out lap, and then pit in. I think is he going for softs though? Because the track doesn't seem that wet.
It could be borderline between going for the softs and going for the inters. Everyone is currently on inters right now. We can have a quick look at the tire information, and yeah, seeing out of 12 drivers, all 12 are on the inters and setting their first banker laps. So,
oh, that's less traction for Akash out of that exit, corner exit.
yeah, but he's putting up a good lap so far. Went purple in sector 1. Could just be the in-game map bugging out for us, but we'll have a better idea since nobody set a lap yet. The person who sets any sort of valid lap right now is going to be top of the timing sheets.
Yep, he was very cautious in the what do you call, in the throttle on that exit, hairpin exit.
Yep, as he comes across the line, Moto sets the first lap of the day, 19.1, and Akash has gone about 4/10 faster. Oh, sorry, about 4/10, about 2/10 faster. My apologies.
Yep. Harry is 1 second behind. I think he might be just doing some banker laps to get the grips of the track and like do a hot lap further. In this like mixed condition or raining condition, you can actually fuel up for more than like 5-6 laps and then keep on doing it and improve and try to find out where all the traction is.
Yeah, I think the sort of low traction conditions will actually be a little bit of a level playing field for a lot of these drivers. I think they'll be looking forward to expecting the rain to kind of give them a little more of a boost up. Some of the slower drivers, maybe who haven't put in as many laps, can suddenly find themselves leveling the playing field a little bit if they're, as Harry just had a massive lockup there into the hairpin. Couldn't fully capture it on the camera, but I saw the front wheels completely locking up. In terms of a challenge, how hard is Canada in the wet?
It is actually very much hard because the understeer you'll be getting with the wet tires is humongous, and especially you know how precise you should be on the last chicane. Especially you can see Harry nailing that last chicane and coming up onto the lap, and he does a 121.9.
Yep. I think that was an invalidated lap. It was flashing red just before he crossed the line. I think this will be the proper lap for him. I think at some point in the last lap he invalidated, so just going for another flying lap here. But Helium setting the pace, I think that was definitely expected because he was definitely the most confident driver coming into the weekend. He's got the pace. We saw in his hot lap that he's got a good grasp of the circuit as well, so he'll be the man to beat the Aston Martin driver currently in provisional pole with a 118.5, currently a 10th faster than the rest of the field. Some of the drivers struggling right now. Don 3 seconds off the pace. I think some of these guys have been caught off by the fact that this is a rain qualifying.
Oh, that's a massive lockup by Harry into the last hairpin, which is the repeat of the last lap itself.
Ooh, and Moto
like
doesn't
Harry's
have a
struggling
wing.
with the ABS. Oh, he doesn't have a wing.
Yeah, that's no wing there on Moto's. He's got no wing at all. So he'll be diving into the pits and massive lockup.
Massive lockup, yep. Massive lockup there. Shastry retired from session. Can we go on board him?
I think
Where
he
is he on
has
track?
just retired in the pits. I don't think he was out on track when that happened because Helium is currently coming past the line and he's the only Aston Martin currently out on track and going even faster, might I add, with a 118.2. 3/10 faster, in fact, than, or about 3/10 faster than his previous time. So he's really finding pace in these challenging conditions out there.
Well, you know, with the wet conditions, wet qualifying or wet race, you can keep on improving the time, time after time. Oh, that's a massive spin by the Williams, I guess.
Oh dear.
In sector, yes, who was that?
That's
Dawn 29.
Dawn, who's had a spin coming out of, what corner is this? Oh, coming out of the
Sector
second
1 exit.
chicane, yeah.
Yep, sector 1 exit. That is a bit tricky corner to nail it though, especially with ABS off and TC off in the rain too.
And it is important to keep in mind that Tier 1 only allows two assists. It allows racing line, which is kind of a non-negotiable. It's more of an aid than an assist. And of course, traction control, where drivers are allowed to run medium, but most of these guys are no assists. And you can see, as Ink just exclaims there in the background, that hairpin catching absolutely everyone off on the brakes.
Yep, not even one driver is nailing that chicane actually now. As we can see, Kapil on his Hotlap, I guess.
Yep, this is a push
Let's
lap.
stay on board. Yep, let's stay on board with him as he's one of the fastest driver in Tier 1. Oh, as another lockup into the last chicane by Kapil, and he's gonna finish the lap and he's gonna do about 120s or 119.5. He goes on to P5 behind Aradhi Gupta by 6/10 and 1.2 seconds behind the leader, Helium.
Yeah, quite a large parity between some of the field. We're seeing the top 4 separated by 6/10 and then the top 8 separated by 4 seconds. So there's a lot of parity in the field, or a lot of disparity in the field. There's a lot of varying levels of skill in the wet being showcased here. Helium obviously lighting up the timing sheets earlier on, and I believe Akash Sonavane has actually improved on his time because he's moved up to P2, displacing Moto. And I think
like I said, the track collision is huge, especially in the wets. So we can see much quicker times as we progress to the qualifying session. And do you have any idea on what the race will be? Will it be dry or wet?
I think I alt-tabbed to the game just after the weather forecast disappeared, so it's as much a surprise to me as it is for everyone else in the stream as to what the race is going to be like. But I mean, even if it's a wet race, I think we have a lot to look forward to. Even if it's a dry race, we have a lot to look forward to because Canada has the ability to throw a spin ball, curve ball at any point in time. Cricket reference gone wrong.
It's okay. I think we had the longest race in the history of F1 in Canada itself. Canada 2012, I guess.
2011 actually.
Oh, 11.
The one that went on for 5 hours and Jensen Button claimed the victory in the end. Really good race that was. But I think it would have got people a little bored at some point. I think there was quite a few red flag and safety car periods during that race as well. So I don't think it would have been the most riveting watch in the world.
Yep, as we can see, Moto going to the last chicane and going to finish the lap. And he does say 117.9. That is pole position for now.
Yep, he will inherit provisional pole, and as Ink was mentioning earlier, track evolution is a big factor right now as the lap times are indeed dropping. The first time to go into the 17s there from the Haas driver, who is really taking command in this season in Tier 1. He's putting on some magnificent performances, and I believe last time out, I think it was Mexico was the last race. He put on a commanding display to pick up a victory in the race. So yeah, Moto is one to look out for in this race. He'll definitely be finding himself at the front. SD as well, who's sitting pretty in P4 right now and currently invalidating his lap time. I think he'll be diving into the pits. No, he'll be going out for another lap. Yeah, this season is really interesting as we do see a yellow flag. Yeah, and I think that was Dawn right ahead of him, who was just slowing down to let his teammate pass, bringing out the yellow flags, and
that's very interesting line taken by him.
Venturing across the grass.
Fronting damage though.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good call.
He has that. Yep, left front wing has gone for him. Oh, he takes a Vettel line. there.
I was just about to mention the same thing.
Yeah.
It seemed very Vettel-esque as he took a venture across the grass there, and he'll be diving into the pits to secure another front wing. I think definitely for me in yesterday's Tier 2 race, I found that once you even pick up a little bit of wing damage, it becomes a real challenge. Sector 1 especially is very, very aero intensive, so if you lose that downforce, your car suddenly turns into a boat, and it's not nice. It's not a nice feeling to lose 2 or 3 tenths every corner.
Yep. And Edsel, what are your top 3 predictions for this race?
Ooh, it's a tough one because we've got so many of the regulars out this race. Ooh,
Oh, that's cannon damage. Yep.
It's
Poor Don.
Don managing to have personal interactions with every single wall.
Well, he's just greeting the fans, you see.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Canada always has the best fans, as Lewis Hamilton would say. Oh,
Hashtag
but
like-
in terms of top 3 predictions, as I was mentioning, a lot of the regulars not racing this week. So Mara's not here, Black Sheep is not here. It's very hard. It could really be a race of attrition for a lot of these guys. It could be a chance for a new driver to take one of the steps on the podium, maybe even the race win if we see Moto or SD or Helium potentially dropping the ball a little bit during the race. We could see a new driver rising up. So in terms of predictions, I wouldn't want to jinx any particular driver, but I would say that Moto is a strong contender for this race. I think I have to give it to the Haas driver. My man is doing really well this season, so yeah, I'm going to be interesting to see how he does.
Yep, Moto has been on the form and he's currently in the form. He got pole and win in Mexico, I guess. Correct me if
Yep.
I'm wrong. Oh, that's... Oh! Helium loses it in the last chicane and still holds on to it. And he's keeping on improving.
That was his outlap, I believe, because his ERS is quite high. Actually, no, I think he might be choosing to take another cooldown lap because he's not deploying any ERS at all, it seems like. Or the harvest must be pretty strong in these conditions because it's not really deploying much energy. But he is 2 tenths up on his time in Sector 1. He'll still have a little bit to improve in Sectors 2 and 3 if he's going to displace Moto at the top. Stay on board.
Yep, we have a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think that's Aradhya Gupta.
Yep, I
Can
think that's
you go
Aradhya
on?
Gupta is just slowing down to let some of the faster drivers through because he is on a cooldown lap, it seems like.
Yep, I think we missed out on SD coming into P2 position. 3 tenths behind Moto.
Stay on board with Helium here as he seems to be putting on a good lap. Very squiggly out of the chicane, out of the hairpin, but yeah, that is expected in these conditions. Inter Tires doing well. I think that the rain has mostly subsided, but the track is still wet, and Helium will dive into the pits. Very aggressive pit entry though.
Yeah, but will he have the time to do another lap though? Like with the proper tire temperature and everything.
If he has to dive out of the pits right now, he has to literally bolt on a new sets and be out of the garage any second now if he's to have a chance of doing 2 laps. But again, I don't think he will. I think he'll have just the 1 lap. He'll have to make that out lap really count in terms of warming up the tires. But something tells me he might choose not to improve on the time either. He still hasn't started coming out of the pit lane. I'm keeping an eye on the track map, and yeah, he doesn't seem to be doing anything right now. So
Well, let's see if he's going to do a Sebastian Singapore qualifying where he got pole position from garage. But it's only 3 tenths gap P1 to P2. So, and with the track evolution, it is he is at risk. He should be doing another lap to improve and get that pole position. And as we have Deepak joining us in the comment box now.
hello, Deepak. Hopefully
Hey,
you are-
hello, it's hello, Ink. Thanks for covering up.
Well, I tried my best.
Yeah, well, it's very appreciated, man. Thanks for that. Thanks for the help.
Life
Yeah, looks like-
happens sometimes.
We have an interesting quali.
Yes, it's wet. It's quite.
Yep, it's always nice to see such a good session. It mixes things up and brings the driver skills to the forefront. It's all nice.
Absolutely, it does. Currently, Moto sitting on provisional pole with a minute left in quali. As Couple improves, goes 4 tenths faster on his own personal best, but still a second and a bit off the pace. So Still time to find for the Alpha driver as he sits in P7. But yeah,
I think this lap will be the ultimate lap because this is the farthest that you can push with the track evolution, and people who are starting their laps right now will be having a shot at the pole, provided that they nail the corners perfectly. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and watch. But I'm pretty sure the times will tumble.
absolutely.
I don't think you guys noticed, but Kapil was having major understeer in every corner. I think he's running a dry setup for the race. I think the race will be dry. What do you guys think?
So we didn't have the weather telemetry running. Oh, I
Uh,
did notice the telemetry isn't running. Okay. All right. So yeah, that it's still good to add some unpredictability for us. Like you said, I think it might be a dry session considering that there's a lot of understeer.
Yeah.
So I think it might be a dry race.
I think Harry is just spun in sector 1, and that's the yellow flags which have come up. Going to go back on board Bannett as he completes the end of his lap. He's improving. 4 tenths up on his personal best. He's 1.8 off the pace though, so it's going to be curious to see where he finishes. As he comes across the line. P4. Wow.
Four.
Great lap
improved by
there.
a second and a half almost.
Pretty much.
1.2
Yeah.
seconds to be precise. Yep.
Brilliant
That's a
track
great
evolution there.
chicane. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Like I
Envy
said-
moves on to P4. Sorry to interrupt.
Ah yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, like I said, the track is evolving and you can see people improving their times massively right now. Since it's the last few minutes, and see Akash Sonone crossing the line doesn't improve, just stays in P6. Or I think he might have improved a little, but I don't think it was enough to move up the positions, I guess.
Let's see, Aradhya
Yeah.
Gupta is still on a lap. He's just coming down the back straight now. Dawn as well, just ahead of him on a lap. Let's see where they finish. Dawn across the line, unable to improve. Aradhya Gupta across the line improves to P4. Brilliant lap there.
Did Moto did not come out, I guess. He's still in the... He retired in the pits,
Yeah,
I guess.
Moto has retired, so he's called it today. And can ST do something? Oh, I don't think he could do anything there. That corner exit was really bad. And he stays the fastest.
Yep, unable to improve, and I don't think there's any other driver currently out on a lap. I think Bannett is just coming across the line again for a second time as his AI keeps driving around, but I think that will be the end of quali. I think now we just wait for the results, and there they are. Interesting quali session in treacherous conditions. Started off pretty rainy but got progressively drier over the session, but that is how qualifying turned out. Moto setting the milestone for the rest of the drivers today in P1 with a 1:17.8, the only driver on the whole grid to make it into the 17s. Helium in P2, SD in P3, Aradhya Gupta with a brilliant lap in P4, NV P5, Bannett with work to do in P6, Akash Sonavane, Stanish, Kapil and Harry rounding off the top 10, and Dawn and Ashtray will have the free tire choice going into the race. That's assuming, of course,
If it's dry, yeah.
if it's dry. Will it be dry? Unfortunately, me and Ink just narrowly missed out on the weather forecast by the time we joined into the server. So, Deepak, your guess is as good as ours as to what the race conditions are going to be.
Yep. Let's see what kind of race comes out. I would definitely want a variable condition race because that obviously brings out a lot. But I really don't think it's gonna be variable condition because the sun is shining bright as ever. Looks like a very dry race. Let's see.
Yep, so all the drivers are currently lining up there as we get a good glimpse of the pit garages right here. Akash is teammates with Sergio Perez and a couple of others. Aradhya Gupta is teammates with Lando Norris and so on. I think there's only one driver representing each of each of those teams, Red Bull and McLaren respectively, this weekend, as we see a couple of drivers unable to make the race today, which is unfortunate. We're just waiting for everyone to load in their setups, and Ink, I think you called it in saying that everyone's pretty much running a modified dry setup because they probably foresaw that the race was going to be dry anyway, so it did not make sense to change the setup much just for qualifying.
Yep, as we all know the race is more important than qualifying. So choosing a dry setup will be helpful.
in terms of strategy around Canada, there are a couple of choices, but that's going to be hugely dependent on what happens in terms of safety cars, what happens in terms of VSCs, what happens in terms of weather. We'll get a better idea of the weather in a second, but in terms of safety cars, it really is unpredictable around here. So they'll have to pick their strategies carefully out there. I think most of the top 10 will start on the softs and just see how it goes from there. What do you guys think?
I think since it was a wet session, I think they'll be starting on the mediums, even if they're in top 10. Especially Moto can start with mediums and like stretch the first into lap 13 or 15, depending upon the safety car and everything. What do you think, Deepak?
Yeah, I think that would be a good option. Of course, we all know that like it can cause a lot of incidents. Like there are a lot of chicanes where you could easily like lose your car, especially the notorious wall of champions. And I don't know who's going to etch their name today over there, but yeah, it's always waiting there to claim some drivers. We never know. Some incidents could happen. Some random safety cars could come up. It's better to start with medium, but of course you need to be very careful on the start, because any little damage means your strategy goes right out the window.
Yep, as we can see, drivers readying up for the formation lap. And for me personally, I'm looking forward how Kapil does his race starting from P9 and how many positions he'll be gaining in the lap 1. As we all have seen and heard, his race starts are like amazingly good.
Yep, it is a very typical of Kapil to start from the back, but by the end of the race, he'll be fighting for the race win somehow. And we see Kapil, Envy, and Helium have chosen to start with a set of softs, and behind Dawn and Ashtray, I think they might have had a collision. They are sitting in the start-finish straight, waiting for everyone to come around. They are not going to have the very ideal start.
Just trying to figure out why the camera settings are like this. It's getting on my nerves a little bit. But it's not really allowing me to go back to the standard onboard camera, but so you guys will unfortunately have to bear with me on that aspect. I think we'll just have to rely on some good camera work from the guys here and try to work out the rest of it. But yep, Moto after qualifying on pole in the wet qualifying, everyone has free choice of tires as mentioned before, so he starts on the mediums as Ink predicted, and Helium will start on the softs right behind him. So Moto will have a lot of work to do in those early laps to try and keep Helium behind. I think these softs can go for 9 or 10 laps, I'd say, before they start to really show a lot of delta drop off. And the mediums can go 14 or 15 laps, potentially even more if you can really manage them. Is the one stop viable here, Ink, by any chance?
I don't think so. Depends on the pace and the safety car, to be honest. Like you'll be very, very slow in the last stage of the race. And if someone who has great pace goes on to the 2-stop, you'll be caught off guard and like you'll lose a position, maybe. So Deepak, can you take the race start?
Yeah, sure. Just waiting for the lights to come on, and yes, I guess all the drivers have slotted in. Okay, we do have the lights. We have 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Moto seems to have got a good launch, but Helium is just coming in, and he seems to have got a better start. Behind we got a car just going outside, but seems to have a clean start up ahead. Cars are jostling for positions, but Helium seems to have gotten ahead. But behind we had a car just massively went off to the side of the track, and we have a yellow flag in sector 1. So far, looks like Helium has got the jump on Moto. That was the supreme traction at the end. The soft tires really coming into their own.
Well, we missed it, but Kapil retired.
Oh, was that his car that went to the left side?
Yep. It was in Kapil who retired, who DNF'd. I think he hit the that pit lane wall.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Like, I just saw some argy-bargy going in the back, and one car just going on to the left. I didn't know whose car that was, but looks like that was Kapil's car. I wonder what happened. As now we see Envy is sizing up a move on Bunnet, and Bunnet runs deep, and Envy gets a line there. Easy peasy move. Now Bunnet is coming under pressure from Akash Sonawane.
Yeah, Bunnet going very deep into the hairpin, pretty much handing the overtake to Envy on a silver platter. But I think that's expected because Envy's got a lot more grip on those soft tires. As Akash goes very deep into Bunnet's diffuser, not to create too many innuendos out of that one, but yeah, that was That was very close for comfort, and I think he'll definitely have some damage there on his front wing as he loses a position to Tanish into turn 1. Great move there by the Ferrari driver, actually.
Yep, Tanish was very sneaky right there, just making up the move when the driver up ahead was making a mistake. That's really good from him.
SD seems to be prowling and on the move. Oof, very, very wide of the apex there, but Aradhya Gupta having a little bit on an oversteer moment, looking to the inside, covering the inside. It's also going to be important to conserve DRS around here because it's pretty hard to recover it. Not many not many intense braking zones here, so it's all about carrying momentum. So recovery of ERS is going to be a challenge as Envy almost does a Banat from the previous lap, goes very deep into the hairpin, but he's right on the back of SD right now.
Yep, that's the traction difference between those tires. The softs are just working absolutely supreme right now, but SD seems to be using a little bit of the battery to stay in contention, but I think Envy is trying to make his soft tires work as early as they could, because I think in a few more laps his tires will be on the down and the mediums will come into life. And we see SD and Aradhya going side by side. SD seems to have gotten ahead, and Envy also tried to sneak in there. It didn't really happen, but there was a little contact between Aradhya and SD. I think Aradhya having a little nervy moment there, but Envy is going around the outside. Can he make this move stick?
Ooh. The soft tires are really coming into their own right now as Envy is all over the back of Aradhya Gupta and gets past him, and Banat very cheeky using the fact that Aradhya got a compromised run through the end of sector 1 and just sneaks ahead of the McLaren driver himself. Really, really great racing from everyone here, and Aradhya again is all over the back of Banat, and he really needs to be careful with those track limits because that would definitely have been a warning. And speaking of warnings, I think Akash gets us started off with our first 3 seconds of the day. I think he picked that up at the end of the last lap, and he's dropping rapidly down the order. I think he is dropping quite a few positions. Let's have a look at the positions. Speaking of that, and yeah, he's lost out quite a bit in the early part of the race. He moved up a bit, but has also dropped back right afterwards. So he's dropped back 2 positions as Helium is slowly opening the gap.
Yep, we see Helium is kind of bolting away. He's using the softs to this max. And we see Tanish is now all over the back of Aradhya, and he seems to be getting the better run on him, but just keeping it together. The DRS is pulling each other over here. I don't know how DRS trains are possible here or not, but so far it does look like a DRS train. Like almost all of the cars are within DRS range. They're all going together. And we see Harry is coming into the pits. Wonder what happened to his car.
I think he may have picked up some wing damage at some point, but he's fitted to a brand new set of medium tires, which should take him at least until lap 20. So he'll definitely be looking for the safety car later on, as it seems like Envy is making or trying to make a move on SD, getting very, very close. And we are on lap 4, so DRS will be activated.
Yep, and we see Envy is dumping his DRS right now, and DRS open, and we see the supreme closing speed there. SD is just no contest there. I'm pretty sure SD will not be fighting this one too hard.
Ooh!
Oh my! I think that's a front wing damage. Easy.
That was Envy
That
going
should
very
be.
deep into the corner actually, and just trying to make sure he didn't get a warning there and try to recover it. And the minimum speed between the difference between them in terms of minimum speed was massive, and SD just gave him a little bonk for good measure. Hopefully that isn't too much wing damage.
I definitely think SD has wing damage. He's struggling to turn the car around. The car is just not turning, and Banat is capitalizing on that, and he moves out to P4.
Ooh, everyone is
OMG,
capitalizing
why-
on that.
Aradhya sends in that corner and makes an overtake on SD.
And you're right, his right end plate is gone.
I would like to say that's a race over for him actually, since Tier-1 doesn't have much of the safety cars or VSCs as other tiers.
That was an interesting.
SD just got mugged hard over there.
3 wide.
With the controller to drive around this track, especially with ABS off and limited assists. And as we know that Aradhya and Envy are on controller competing in Tier-1, it is a bit difficult for them.
But they seem to be doing a good job right now. Envy is in P3 and Aradhya is in P5. They seem to be running a good race as it stands. Okay, so far on track. Okay, SD has gone into the pits, and so has Ashray.
Yeah,
wonder what
first.
happened.
Seems like an early stop for Ashray as well.
Yeah, ST is pitting for the new wing as well as new tires. Interesting to see what Ashtray is doing. He's going on to the mediums, and again, yeah, I think he's also picked up some wing damage at some point, because otherwise it doesn't really make much sense to pit at this point in time.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Tanish has also gotten... Sorry
Past,
to...
Aradhya. Yeah, no, you continue.
seems Tanish has gotten past Aradhya Gupta at some point. Ooh, I see.
That's a track.
Yep. I wonder what's going on with Aradhya.
Just pushing a little bit too hard to catch up with Tanish, who seems to be carrying a lot of pace right now.
And he's caught up to Banat and he's all over his back right now.
Banat
And he has almost full ERS.
doing very good job.
Easy overtake there. But he's not using the ERS though.
Nope. I think he just wants to get close and get the move done in turn 1. That's when he sees. Oh!
Is that a damage?
I think he just saved it. I think he got away with it, I guess.
No, that's not a damage.
Yeah. He barely managed to control it and got away with it. Good car control there. But yeah, very nearly the Wall of Champions got his victim today.
Even though punishment is the champion in Tier 1.
Let's see. And
Yep, one moment.
Tanish seems to be quite aggressive on those curbs as well. Making use of the maximum
yeah,
way.
But he better not end up getting this thing penalties.
Yeah, those things will really come back to hurt. I'm pretty sure. I won't be surprised if even the race win is decided on penalties, because it seems to be that close. I think that the consistency and the precision will be the deciding factor, I feel like, in the race win also.
But I also take this time to point out that Moto's medium tire advantage is now starting to kick in, as he's managed to close in on Helium quite a lot in the last lap or so. If the gap was about 1.5 seconds, it's down to 3/10 now.
Yep, and we see Moto is closing up on Helium. Helium is blocking the inside line. Moto's trying to send it around the outside, but Helium holds on, survives for this lap. But like you said, the softs are definitely dying. He's struggling on traction over there, and Moto's tires are just coming to life right now. Tanish is trying to send one around the outside. Now switches to the inside. Will he send this? Oh, that was tight. Good racing from both of these guys.
Tanish will definitely feel a little hard done by there, because of the fact that he also picked up a 3-second time penalty while going wheel to wheel. So definitely not the ideal situation right now. He also has that 3-second buffer to worry about, as a lot of drivers are picking up penalties. Harry, Ashtray and Tanish all in the span of 2 corners have picked up, and I believe that's Aradhya Gupta's second 3-second time penalty. He's really racking them up now.
That's gotta hurt. That's gotta really hurt. And we're just 8 laps into the race, so it's definitely gonna hurt your confidence and your ability to push quite a lot, seeing those warnings and penalties. And we see Moto again close this time round. But Helium seems to be slightly ahead this time. He would have gotten a better run on him. But again, DRS, ERS and the tires coming into play, and Moto's positioning his car on the inside. Helium is sticking on the outside. Oh, there's contact over there.
Ooh.
How did they not spin?
Brilliant switch back there from Moto.
Yep, still side by side. This move is not yet done, and
Still side by
man.
side, and Helium bullies his way past in the end.
Helium just standing his ground and saying, "You shall not pass." Right there.
That is some Checo level defending by Helium there. Great racing between the two.
Really
Yes,
was
definitely good racing. Yeah, good racing. Both of them gave enough space. No one tried to rush each other off the track. That was really nice to see.
Same going on with Banat and Tanish. Looks like Aradhya is chilling in the back, seeing them both fight and hoping they would get damage to both of them. And he can
That would be the ideal situation for Aradhya. That would be a dream scenario, two cars out in the same corner. That would be really nice for him. But yes, for now he just gotta hang back and hope that he could catch up to these guys. I mean, he's staying within DRS, so that's all good. And now Tanish is rushing ahead.
As we can see, Moto has taken the lead from Helium.
He has
I
indeed.
guess he got it to the back straight, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. There was a comfortable move as well, I think, because he had it done even before turn 1. So that was a comfortable overtake for him, and now he can really push on those medium tires, which are now getting into the window at long last.
Well, Helium is out of DRS. from Moto Moto. I think the tires are dropping off massively, and I think it's time for the first pit stops to come for the soft runners especially.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. The gap is increasing like massively. In every update, the gap is just going up and up and up, and it's not really going down enough. So yeah, I definitely think the tires are dropping off the cliff right now.
Anish also has pulled away second from Banat, and Aradhya Gupta back behind Banat, trying to make an overtake on the back straight.
Banat will have, actually no, he won't have DRS because he was outside a second. So yeah, this should be easy pickings for Aradhya with ERS. He has about 40% left, chooses not to use it. Will he catch up to Banat in time? I don't think so. Maybe he might get a chance to get the move done into turn 1. He's on pretty thin ice in terms of penalties as it is already, so he'll have to keep an eye on those warnings as he does go side by side into turn 1. And they're still side by side. Banat poking his nose in on the inside, not giving Aradhya an easy time, but eventually he does get past, and that was job done from the McLaren driver. Moving up into P5, and Banat is relegated to P6.
He lost 7 tenths there. I wonder what happened. Maybe he got a bit squirmy on the exit. And as you can see, Akash back in the behind Banat trying to make an overtake.
Yeah, Banat is taking a very tight line through turn 1. I guess he might have gotten eager to get the power down, might have had a very squirmy moment on the exit, would have definitely dropped him back quite a lot. But that was a really nice move from Aradhya in turn 1, and really good racing from Banat as well, leaving him space and making it a clean move.
Just having a quick look at the penalty situation here. The top 2 drivers currently not having any penalties to their name, which is a good job so far. Envy having 3 seconds, Tanish having 6, Aradhya having 6, and Akash having 3. But most notably, Harry has 14 seconds of penalties. So not the ideal start to the race that the Alpha driver would have wanted, and he has some work to do if he is going to be clawing his way back into the top 10.
Yep, I guess Harry is back to form with his track penalty studio, and we see Banat is running deep into the corner, and Akash just having a very brief look over there, trying like I'm pretty sure he's just rubbing his hands. Banat seems to be very uncomfortable on these tires right now.
Yep, he seems to be losing quite a lot of time, and as a result quite a few positions as well, having been up as high as P4 as he gets a big slap of oversteer there coming out of turn 6, I believe.
But the DRS from Arad will help him defend the position from Akash. But I think he has lost the DRS from Aradhya, and he will be...
He is back in the DRS range. Like in the detection point, I think he was under a second. I'm not so sure.
I don't think
Let's
so.
check.
Yep.
While this battle is unfolding here, there's another battle unfolding in for the final points position. Well, technically we have points that go up to 15th, but if we were to be superficial about it, the final points position is currently being fought out or rather P9 is being fought out between Harry and Don, as they're only separated by a couple of tenths. Harry going very deep into the hairpin, and that will leave him a little vulnerable as Akash Sonavane does make a move down into turn 1 for P6, and Banat moves down another position.
Can we see the ERS level of Banat though?
Banat is on, he's been spamming a
19%.
lot, 19%.
Yeah,
It's not
even when he was battling Aradhya, I did notice his lights were flashing a little on his. He seems to be pushing quite a lot.
Banat is surely finding that corner very tricky to nail it, especially
Yeah.
on the throttle.
This is the second or third time I'm seeing like he was losing his rears over this corner. I think he's just trying to push a lot. He just needs to calm down a little and take it easy on those corner exits, because that's definitely losing him a lot of time, and of course wearing his tires as well.
Aradhya Gupta now unable to catch on to the DRS of Tanish, who has pulled a considerable gap over him, 2.5 seconds almost, and this will be easy pickings for Akash Sonavane, who makes the move down the inside well before the chicane. Gets within breathing distance of the wall, but gets the move done as well, and he's up into P4 and sets himself up well for the second stint. He's done a magnificent job of getting himself back up into the points after a questionable race start, let's say, where he lost a couple of positions, but now he's managed to claw his way back up, courtesy of a rough race for Banat so far.
Yep, as we missed on it, Helium has pitted from fresh mediums now in the lap 14. I think he might stretch this mediums till the end.
Will they experiment with the one stop? Only time will tell.
Well, I have tried the one stop and it is doable, but as I said, if a safety car comes out, then she should move on to another set of softs and capitalize on it.
One thing that I would say though is that Aradhya Gupta is really abusing the ERS to stay within. Initially, he was dumping DRS to stay within Tanish's DRS, or just dumping ERS to stay within Tanish's slipstream. But unfortunately, in an effort to do so, he has lost quite a lot of ERS. He's at 10% now and dives into the pits. An optimum time, I'd say.
But isn't it too early for the mediums?
It is too early for the mediums, but he finds himself in traffic with not much ERS, so a little bit of a reset might be a good idea, and also wing change as well.
Change for him. Yeah, I think he got
That explains the early stop. I think Aradhya has had 2 stops so far. Can you check the pit stops?
I believe this is his first stop, right?
Yep.
Okay, I guess the tire age, I was reading it wrong. I saw the medium tire age is 13 laps. I thought maybe it was second pit stop, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, he had wing damage and he's gone to a set of softs. That's definitely going to impact the race for him, but let's see.
Not really many battles going on. Oof, it gets very sideways there coming out of turn 4. Everyone's kind of split apart a little bit, put a little bit of distance between themselves as the first stint comes to an end. So the soft runners have pitted for a fresh set of mediums, and now's about the time when the medium runners might look to pit to a set of softs. The softs go about 10 or 11 laps, so another 2 stints on the soft tires will get them to the end ideally.
Can we go on board Tanish? He seems to be closing up on Envy, and Envy is still running on the old softs that he started with.
He's definitely going for the one stop, it seems like. He's committing to that one stop and he has to get the soft tires at least another 2 or 3 laps if that's the case, but it makes more sense to run the medium tires longer than to run the soft tires longer. Would you agree, Ink?
Yeah, surely. I think Aradhya is trying to stretch the softs till the end because it's a big task for him to, do the stint on 20 laps with softs. Or else he might be trying to do a 2-stop. But without the safety car, I think he'll be falling back down the order, and he will have to overtake a lot of cars to get into the top 5 or top podium positions.
As Tanish slips down the inside, these are 2 teammates fighting it out here. No team orders, it seems like, or maybe there will be as Tanish gets past Envy not really using the ERS too much to defend the position. I think it's just better that he does that, and he dives into the pits as well.
I think Harry spun in sector 1.
Oh.
There is sector 1 yellow flag.
Okay.
Can we see his front wing though?
Let's have a quick look as he comes round. No, I think his wing is fine. I think his wing isn't damaged.
Yeah, but I think he spun into the turn 1 because there are sector 1 yellow flags right when Tanish was trying to make a move on Envy. As we can see, Envy coming in out of the pits in a fresh mediums. I think it'll be easy race until the finish line.
Ooh, there's yellow flag in sector 3. Harry having more issues with wheel spin, I think. How's his front wing
Harry's
looking
definitely
now?
not having a very good race day.
His wing still seems to be fine though, so I think he's just struggling a little bit in terms of managing those rear tires and making sure they don't overheat too much, because one spin can lead to another spin very quickly. Ooh, yes, awfully. That camera angle is brilliant, by the way, might I add. It's really a big adrenaline rush from that camera angle.
It's always nice to see drivers when you see them just going close to the wall, but not this close to the track limits. So I think Harry just got another 3 seconds. He's edging close to disqualification. He's 20 seconds.
He's at 20 seconds right now. 30 seconds is the threshold for disqualification, I'd say. So Harry is really treading on thin ice right now when it comes to track limits. So he really needs to keep an eye on that and get it under control, or he risks not getting any points at all.
Yep, he just needs to calm down, just drive around and finish the race at least, just bring some minimum points to Alfa Romeo. because the consistent points scorer Kapil he had an absolute nightmare at the start. I still don't know what happened there. I wish he had a replay system like ACC, or I could just go back and check, but unfortunately we can't. So we're gonna have to check with Kapil after the race is over. But yeah, that was really unfortunate race, and Answarami seems to be struggling this race.
Akash Sonowane really trying his hardest to get within Tanish's DRS, as he is down within a second. Will he get DRS? Yes, he was within a second as he went into the detection zone. Had to dump ERS to get there, but now he can conserve a little bit of ERS and just try to stay within Tanish's slipstream for as long as possible. Stay within that 1 second mark, and he should be able to close in on those guys ahead. Him and all three of them actually, Moto, Tanish and Akash, are all on the medium tires and extending them for as long as possible. One stop definitely is the aim here for these three boys, I'd say.
Yep, definitely it does look like that. And any safety cars will definitely benefit them right now. But so far it all looks pretty clean. We don't have a lot of feisty battles going on, and drivers seem to be having a grip on their cars and their handling. So it does look like won't be having any safety cars. So let's see.
Tanish just trying to weave a little bit, break the slipstream, give himself this little bit of advantage that he can, but it is no doubt that Akash is slowly closing in on him as every corner goes by. It was underneath a second as the game passed this point in the previous lap, and now it's down to 8 tenths, and the gap is just closed up a little bit more, in fact, and he'll be able to get a lot closer with DRS. Something to also keep in mind is that Helium is right behind them, and it's curious to see where he'll come out after the front three make their pit stops. Something tells me Helium will inherit the net race lead. Ooh,
We have a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. Looks like a Williams.
Oh, and Don has no front wing whatsoever to his name.
Yep. That's an entirely no front wing kind of car, 0 aero.
Optimum setup for Monza then.
Alright, so yeah, I for a moment thought someone had bent it in the wall, maybe safety car, but nothing like that. And coming back to your point for Helium, I definitely think he has done good enough to keep himself in contention for the lead, and I think he might get the lead. Because right now the gap doesn't really look huge enough to compensate. And I think Moto really needs to push a lot if he has to have some chance of making the strategy work for his favor.
Moto currently sitting pretty in P1, 9 seconds clear of the rest of the field, as Banath is retired from the race.
Will this be a safety car?
Dearie
It
me,
is a
it's a
safety
safety car. Moto will...
Yep.
Oh, beautiful timing for Moto, might I add, because he's right there at pit entry. It might work out really well for all three of these drivers here. As Banath just lost it, I saw as we went on board Dawn, he lost his car coming out of the final chicane just before the hairpin.
That's unfortunate for Banath. We did see he was pushing quite hard, and I think he just pushed it one too many times too hard, and I think that's his race over. But what a timing for Moto! Not too early, not too late. Like, I'm pretty sure if the safety car had come out like a few seconds late, I think he would have missed a split window, and that would have been game over for him. But what a timing for him, man.
Tell you what though, this pit window has not gone to plan for Tanish at all, because Akash has hopped him in the pit, right in the pits. That's where he's hopped him in position. He's moved up to P2, and Tanish has actually moved down to P4 as a result of that. And this will probably be the tire that these guys take all the way till the end of the race.
Yep, should be. And we see Helium is also going to the pits to change stuff. Sauce, good call, and he's in P3 right now. So Tanish will be right behind him. That will be a battle to watch out for, because we know both are very feisty drivers. Both don't give up space that easy, so it's going to be very interesting to restart. And this is actually throwing a chance to all of the other drivers as well, like the real ST, who actually was falling out of the race with that little incident. He now gets a second win. He could do something in the restart. So it's all to play for now for these guys.
Absolutely. And also this works out as while on a topic of Tanish and Helium, it's going to be unstoppable force versus immovable object, because Helium is a master of defense, sometimes a little bit too aggressively so in his defense, but Tanish, as you say, is just as feisty, so it's going to be interesting. As Dawn disconnects from the lobby, he'll be able to join back though, no problem, but hopefully in time so that his AI doesn't do any dumb decisions in terms of strategy, because it does tend to
I
do
won't
that
be
sometimes.
surprised.
Yeah. New
I
front
won't be
wing.
surprised if the AI pulls into the car and says you need a fresh set of softs or maybe even hards. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that will happen now. I think the AI will pit for softs because Aradhi Gupta also pitted for softs now.
Interesting.
I think it'll be a fun race to watch out now because everyone will be in the softs.
Oh, his AI chooses to stay out. Bold choice, AI on the medium tires when everybody else is on the softs.
No. Well, smart AI.
Yeah, it's curious to see what Ashtray is going to do. Oh, he does dive into the pits, and I think he'll also be going for a fresh set of softs.
Can we go into the penalty situation?
I think Harry's going to be the headline there on 18 seconds.
He had 20 seconds, no?
Yeah. I think one of them might be some pit entry related. Not so sure.
I think one of them
Think he
he may
served
have
that in the pit.
served. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I don't think you could serve the 3 seconds at least. I think you can serve the 5 seconds, the pit entry related ones.
Yeah, I think he had like 20 seconds, then he served the 5 seconds, and then again got the 3 seconds.
Oh,
And it's 18.
Harry's having a huge penalty fest today.
all the mathematics coming out here, boys. Had to really apply our brains to figure out why he had 18 seconds and not 20 seconds. But there you go. This is the kind of riveting content that IRC brings you. And I think Helium was mentioning earlier that he had pinned his hopes on the IRC bingo of Harry picking up a top 10, and I think that's going to happen because, well, we have only 10 drivers in the race. So regardless of the penalty situation, Harry will finish P10. So talking of the bingo, I think we can do a little bit of pitching about the IRC bingo.
Yep, why not? I'm pretty sure you're the best person to do that, so I need to go ahead itself.
Well, the IRC Bingo is a new feature that's been introduced this season where you can get more involved with the races, gives you more of getting involved with the drivers, getting involved with the races themselves. You can vote on, I think it's 5 different things that you may see potentially happening in the race out of many possibilities, and whoever gets the highest points at the end of the season, well, let's see how
Gets
it
a
goes.
cookie.
Gets a cookie from us. It's just a way of getting more involved with the races instead of just having to watch them. Maybe you make some predictions like, I don't know, Helium picks up race win, or Ashtray gets a DT, or ST gets a puncher, or something like that. The predictions changed based on the race, so it's not really just a single very monotonous prediction like, oh, this person gets pole. It's going to be like 25 seconds track limits at Canada, for example, or someone tries the 0 stop at China or something crazy like that. You know, it's a good way to get involved with the community. But for that, you have to join our Discord server. Links down in the description. And comes at a good time because the safety car is coming in this lap. So Moto will lead the field away.
How would you take this restart if you were in Moto's position itself?
I think Ink is more of a person to ask that because I think he found himself in a couple of safety car restarts earlier today.
Yep. I think you should like slow down in the hairpin and then bolt off because you'll catch the other drivers off guard. Because everyone will be expecting to like push after the chicane.
Moto seems to be holding his ground, and I
Yeah,
think he's bolted off at the chicane. So seems to have got a good launch from the other drivers. And another good thing is like there is a lap car of Harry Rocks in between. So yeah, that could come into play.
That could come into play as Ashtray makes up a position right there on the safety car restart, getting past Dawn in no time whatsoever. So he is now sitting on net P8, a good result after being nearly a lap down just before the safety car period. But this blue flag car of Harry is not going to be good news for Akash, who's going to be picking up all kinds of dirty air from the Alfa Romeo ahead of him. And it's not that Harry will really be willing to let him go either because he's on the soft tires, as are the rest of the field. We can just have a quick look at the tire situation here, and yeah, you
Literally
can see
everyone is in softs.
except Don, of course, because his AI decided to put him on the
yeah.
mediums. But yeah, now Harry has to concede the position. Now can't be spending too much time ahead of Akash. He is blue flagged. He must understand that he must concede the position not as soon as possible, but within reason. But also in Harry's mind, he's going to be thinking about unlapping himself. So it's an interesting conundrum from Harry's perspective.
I really think Harry should let him buy and just he lets him buy. But I really think he could have done this a little earlier because right now you see Moto had broken off from DRS range of Akash Sunamane. And we see a yellow flag behind. I hope nothing happened.
Not quite
It's a slow
sure
car or
who
something.
dropped through the field there. I think it was just a
It's Harry
spin.
itself.
I think it was just Harry slowing down to let people through, just triggered the yellow.
That's true.
But
That's true.
yeah, moving on. See, Moto has broken away from Akash. He's just 1.4 ahead. So right now, Helium is on the prowl behind Akash. So I think it's going to be a bit late. And who manages the tires best? That's what will be deciding the race. I feel like.
I think the
And we
fact
have got a super chat in the chat now by Gaura Aurora, who's telling that Moto will be dying on the restart.
Well, too late and a wrong prediction. But anyway, thanks.
Thanks for the super chat there from Gaurav Arora. And Moto survived the safety car restart, no issues whatsoever, and actually had the safety buffer of Harry Rocks right behind him, so didn't have to fuss too much about it.
Yeah, well, Akash will be. Akash would have hoped that we had Michael Massey as someone there to get the lap cars out of the way, but no one was there. But I mean, Helium is making his move, getting it through, and Tanish is also looking for it right there, but he couldn't just make it. He was just having a look on the outside, but couldn't make it through. But yes, Tanish will definitely make this move. Akash is not really feeling that great and comfortable over there. Sends it on the inside. Oh, still side by side. Good share of wheel banking going on there, but these guys are not yet done. They are still going side by side through there. And
Interesting
this camera
diffuser
angle's
cam.
new.
Yeah, that was not beneficial to the battle at all. Tadish had to take a warning there, completely off track when he made that overtake. The stewards might have to have a look at that later, but yeah, great wheel to wheel racing until there, but kind of dropped the ball a little bit with that final little bit of track invalidation.
And
you could say.
Aradhya just made a move on ST in, but ST just clawed back on that hairpin exit there because on the entry, Aradhya was just sending it down the inside, just noticing there on the backside, but somehow Real ST got the exit there and he's clawed ahead. This is an interesting train of battles right here.
All of them are bunched up right now, and anybody can be making a move. There's a big train here of 6 cars.
Yep. So crucially, even Helium has broken away from Tarnish. So Tarnish doesn't have DRS right now with Helium, but you can see Tarnish is definitely pushing hard. He's definitely clawing down on that gap. But Helium really made the wise move there by putting Akash in between.
Akash currently the stopper in this DRS train, as everybody is eager to get past the Red Bull driver. He really does have to start picking up the pace. I think he left himself a little bit out cold with the ERS situation. I think he's not very, very generous with his ERS, and he currently doesn't have much to give.
Yeah, we did see him earlier in the race just using a lot of the ERS to stay in contention, stay within the slipstream of the car. That definitely is hurting him a bit. But he seems to be holding on for now. Let's see how long he hold on. He still needs to hold on for 7 laps more. So let's see.
Looks like half the grid is in the DRS train from P3 to P7, P8, or P7.
Yep. Right now, Tarnish has also entered the DRS range with Helium. So it's right from P2 all the way to P7.
Oh, yeah. Tanish absolutely pushing the new soft tires. Who do you think will win this race, and what will be the podium finish? Who will be the podium finishers?
Can you have a look in the penalties?
Tanish, I think 6 seconds.
Tarnish has quite a lot. He has quite a lot. He's not getting the podium today.
15 seconds.
He's not getting the podium today.
I think
So as it stands, I think ST is standing in a handsome position to get the podium today.
Tanish
think
again 3-second penalty.
I think more importantly than that, Helium picks up a 3-second penalty for track limits. He won't be happy with that at all. He will really not be happy with that. And Moto right now must be celebrating, but must not
He needs to be very
celebrate
careful with the
too soon.
celebration. Yeah.
Exactly, because he is currently sitting on no penalties, and a 3-second can very, very quickly change that.
Yep, like I said earlier, ST is standing in a very comfortable position right now. Like, I think if he could make up a few places, he's very well in contention for P2.
Can we go into the leaderboard, leader gap from the telemetry?
ST currently about only about 3
At least
seconds
4
off-
seconds.
4 seconds
3.9
off the
behind the leader.
And with all of
That
these guys,
takes it out
penalties
2 for
ahead.
him. Yep. I think that's a sure P2 for SD if he keeps it like this till the end of the race.
I think SD will have to claw back some gap because I think he might lose the P2 right now. But he's for sure sitting in P3 right now as it stands.
Everyone just kind of tightly bunched up with each other and not able to do much with the DRS advantage that they have because, well, everyone has DRS right now, so it's actually a leveling factor. Everyone currently DRSing away from the guy behind them. I think now Helium has become the cork in the bottle. If he were to succumb to the pressure of Tanish, then he'll very quickly find himself slipping down the field as Tanish does have DRS. This is a battle you were looking forward to, Deepak.
But that seems like a very anticlimactic end. He just went past so easy.
Not quite the end we were looking for.
Yep. But it's all for not for Tanish because he has a lot of penalties in hands. But importantly, I think Moto might have made a little mistake because I did see the gap with second position was 1.7 or something. Right now it's 1.3.
Yes. Oh, there's a sector 1 yellow flag. I wonder who.
I guess
Oh,
that
SD.
is the car of
SD, no.
Oh, no.
I think we jinxed him.
I guess we
Well.
just put the comms scores real bad on this guy.
Yep. I talked about Kapil also on the race starting. He DNF'd and now SD.
It's not good
Oh.
news for the Williams driver who was looking in such a good position to pick up a podium today, if not the race win. But that is a real, that's a real screw in the works for the Williams driver, and that's
think
I
not.
wonder
He's
what
gonna
happened, whether he tried to make a move or was it just him getting eager on the throttle. Not so sure, but that's gonna be something to speak about after the race.
Absolutely, and the gaps have started to open up a little bit more, but not good for Tanish because Helium is right on his diffuser again as he big slap over.
Absolutely to the max right there.
Yep. Tanish needs to open up.
Actually, yep.
He needs to
He's
open up.
catching Moto.
He is actually. I was just about to mention that.
Yeah.
Well, Tanish looks to be playing the party pooper today. Even though he has penalties, he's like, nope, I want the position on track. I don't care if the race is taking destructive.
Hey, he has every right to with 18 seconds of penalties. He's not playing for much here with all the penalties applied. I think he will drop back to P8 almost. So
Yep.
yeah, he needs to make it fun while it still lasts.
Yeah. And he's definitely doing a good job at it. He's within DRS range of Moto right now. Wow.
Too close. Oh, he is inside. He is inside the DRS detection
I
zone.
think Moto's made another mistake there. The harsh driver really, I don't want to say cracking under the pressure, but it does seem like he is struggling a lot with the pressure of the Ferrari driver from behind.
Yep, the last 2 laps, the gap has gone down significantly. I mean, I'm sure Tanish is pushing, but I really think even Moto is making some mistakes right there.
It's going to have to be a mistake from somebody because Akash, Helium, Tanish and Moto are all within each other's DRS as Ashtray got very close to the back of Aradhya there.
Yep, that was very close.
I almost thought he lost his wing. But no.
Yeah, we have actually seen great interactions by Aradhya and Ashray.
Oh, and
Oh,
Ashtray.
no.
Fun. That
Ooh.
Wait, that was a reset?
Yep, that is
That's
caught
gonna be a
before-
penalty.
We didn't see anything, lads. Going back to the lead battle.
Right, so this is spicing up to be a really nice lead battle. It's a shame for the penalties to be playing the spoil spot there, but wow, what an end are we setting up for right now?
It's really with there are the top 5 drivers each have completely different penalty standings. So really, SD could still end up on the podium if he really pushes those last couple of laps. Actually, I think it might be a bit of a
we'll have to
that's
do-
way too outlandish.
yeah, bit far-fetched there as Harry skirting the line to disqualification here. 24 seconds, being a lap down. Do not know what the motivation is for pushing right now.
But my god, look at that closing speed. Moto seems to be absolutely dead in the water right now, and Tanish is going down the inside. That was way too aggressive, just forcing the gap open, and he is making the move stick. Absolutely great racing there. Like, I'm completely gone for words.
he really forced the affair, didn't he?
Yep. Like, Moto was really blocking the inside, but Tanish was like, nope, I need that place. You're gonna have to move aside. That was absolutely just commanding his way through.
Yeah, but with the 18-second penalty, I think he'll be down in P6 or something.
Yeah, that's true though. But I mean, he will
Oh,
have the
there's a
bragging
yellow
rights to
flag.
say that.
Akash Sonavane has crashed out. Oh, not crashed out, but he has spun out by the looks of it.
I think he might have had a very squirrely exit and just deposited his car on the wall, I guess.
Does he have a front wing damage though?
The
Not
spectator
so
cam
sure.
doesn't seem to be working with me here, and yes, he does. The right end plate is gone. It seems like. Oh, actually, no. It seems to be fine.
And up front, it seems like Tanish is on the verge of breaking away from TRS, but Moto just lost that time back. But Tanish is definitely pulling off. I don't know how he's doing this, but he's pulling off massively. And Helium is closing in on Moto.
I think I know the reason why Moto is losing so much time. I think he's desperate not to pick up a 3-second, and as a result, he's taking it a little easy with the track limits, just not wanting to push too much at this delicate stage of the race. Definitely, there's no chance of Tanish pulling an 18-second gap on him. That doesn't seem likely. He just has to make sure that Helium doesn't pull too much of a gap on him, because that might negatively impact his race.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I think he might have used some warnings earlier and he might be just one warning away from penalty. I think that might explain as to like why he's taking it very slow through the corners. But if he's actually doing that, that's really smart play from him, not risking it a lot and securing the position for himself. That's really nice from him. But he needs to be very careful to not come under pressure from Helium, because of course when you're battling side by side with someone, you completely ignore the track limits. It's that kind of a thing right there. Let's see how it happens. So far it looks like he's able to hold on. He just needs to hold on for one more lap.
I think Helium made a little bit of a mistake coming out of the hairpin, just got a little bit too much on the curb and got a little bit of wheel spin, and as a result Moto was able to pull out a little bit of time, just a little bit of breathing space for himself, 2 or 3 tenths. But yeah, this is very poised now. This is perfectly poised to end up. It's a delicate ending. I'm very curious to see where everyone finishes with the varying levels of penalties that everyone's carrying. This field is definitely set to shake itself up as
Tanish gets another 3 seconds. He just doesn't care anymore, does he?
Yep.
That was close from Helium. That would have ended really bad for him, but good car control right there.
Can we go on board Moto? He's like 6 tenths behind Tanish.
I don't think he'll try to go for the overtake. I think sitting back and just letting it unfold. Maybe just wants to go for the win on track. It's definitely possible. Ooh, a little bit of oversteer, but controls it well. But yeah, Helium made a mistake coming into Sector 2, and it doesn't really seem to be much evidence for it, because he's currently 1.1 seconds off. Tanish will come down to the line. Moto just has to prevent himself from rear-ending Tanish. Very sketchy through the chicane there, but he'll come across the line. Tanish will claim the victory on track, but Moto will claim the victory in merit. And I think Kapil was watching the race all that time, because he's just left the session. It just flashed up there for a second. Not many battles currently. I think Akash Sonavane is currently battling someone. He ends up P4 after all the penalties are applied. Great race there for the Red Bull boy. Boys, I was going to say Red Bull boys, but there's only one of them currently in the race. A great race for Red Bull driver, we must say. And I think that's going to be the end of it. I think Harry is too far back to really benefit from any kind of penalty situation for SD. And yeah, Moto, after a dominant race victory, a dominant race display from him, seemed a little bit in jeopardy there towards the middle of it, but managed to keep a cool head, and a good safety car restart helped him out massively as well.
Yep, that safety car definitely helped level the field, and it did help him get the lead as well, because we did see that Helium was well within the pit window of Moto. Like, he could have easily got the lead on track, but yeah, that was still a good race. It's a shame for the penalties at Tanish, because he seemed to be having a lot of pace, but just too many track hits.
Well, I really enjoyed how Tanish drove actually. Really dominant display of pace on the track. But sadly, he had 21 seconds or 18 seconds.
21 at the end.
21,
yeah,
21 at the end, yeah.
Penalty.
So that was our Canadian GP. So, well, that was quite a race.
Yep, indeed. NV finishes on podium P3 after all the penalties have been applied to all the drivers. And a bad race for Kapil and Banat, who DNF'd. along with Harry, who is 1 lap down. Now we move on to the podium interview.
And Harry has snatched the fastest lap point.
Oh, I think Kapil might have been pushing on the VC.
Oh
for him to take
yeah,
that.
that's entirely possible. But yeah, Moto picks up the race victory. Helium in P2, Envy in P3, Akash Sunavane starting P7 finishes P4, Tanish P5, Aradhya Gupta P6, Don, Ashray, SD and Harry round off the top 10, and unfortunately Banat and Kapil do not finish the race.
Who do you guys think was the driver of the day?
Well, if you take absolute performance, I would say Danish. But again, with the penalties and everything, it definitely showed that he was very careless with his track limits. So, if you want, I would give it to Moto because his qualifying performance was absolutely dominant. Like, if you saw the gaps, like every other driver, they were beating the other drivers by like a tenth or something. But this guy was ahead of the field by almost 2.5 tenths. I mean, that's a really dominant lap right there.
Yep, I will now go ahead and move some of these guys into chat room, into the commentary box. My apologies. So we'll go ahead and bring in these guys here. And I think this is the last. Envy is yet to join us, and there we go. Envy is also into the commentary box. So I think you guys can get started with the podium interview.
Deepak, you can carry.
Yeah, let's start with Envy. Yeah, can you hear us, man?
Yeah, I can.
All right, so congratulations on your podium, and yeah, just talk us through your race, man, because we did see a lot of you were making a lot of moves and going back and forth. Just talk us through your race, like how did it went for you?
It went, I would say, ooh, till what I could achieve, I achieved. The thing is, there are frequent power cuts here in Bangalore, and my power kept going and coming back, and due to that, my PC kept like it's on a UPS, so it kind
Okay.
of stuttered here and there. So yeah, I think I did as much as I could. Nothing more,
Okay,
nothing less.
that was great. That was great. And I have just one question to ask to you. Like, when you were on your softs and Tanish was right behind you on mediums, like, was there any team orders in place, or were you just racing it out to position?
No, I realized that Tanish was faster than me, so I was like, yeah, just go ahead. I just let him after near the deal. So.
All right, all right. A really good race from you, and considering all the power cuts and all the distractions, it's really nice uh, to complete the race in a proper manner. So yeah, really good job from you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to Helium. Here is man. Lift.
Yeah, hi.
Good race from you, Helium. Same for the safety car. I think you would have been in the lead for the safety car. But still, that was a phenomenal race start. Just talk us through your race start, like, and what were you thinking through the race?
Well, my main motive was to keep Moto out of my DRS, but he was too damn quick. So I couldn't keep that too low for too long, maybe 10 laps, I don't remember. Then, yeah, the safety car was a very bad luck for me, very good luck for Moto, obviously, because I think I was, what, 7-8 seconds behind him with a stop more than him. Yeah, well, anyways, I got P2. My whole motive was to get on the podium. So I am happy.
That's well summed up from your side, because it was a very competitive race down there. We did see a lot of cars jostling for position, and I think the safety car restart, you were looking very racy and trying to make a lot of positions. That was really good racing from you, and there was a lot of moments when you went side by side with Moto as well, and that was quite aggressive, but racing. Really good job to you, man.
Thank you.
Uh, any other questions, Aitzel, Ink?
No, I think I was just going to add that you had our hearts in our mouths at many points during the race with your incredible racecraft. A lot of good overtakes, good defense from you as well. Yeah, great job, man. Congratulations on the
Thank you.
P2.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the man of the moment, the race winner, Moto. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm all good, man.
That was
And-
a really great race from you. Just so amazing. So I mean, in the start, you were a bit bogged down. Like, was it just a bad start, or was it just the tires coming into play?
So yeah, I mean that was a pretty decent race actually, but yeah, I did luck out there. No, let's not pull any punches. I mean, I was kind of in a very weird position because I had really bad tire wear for some reason. Like by lap 15, 16, my mediums were like on almost at 60. So I literally was stuck because I couldn't pit to mediums again, and softs wouldn't go till the end. So yeah, the safety car did really save me there. But yeah, it was good. It was good racing, and qualifying was fun as well. It's good to finally have a wet session. I'll just add that. I really enjoyed that. It was nice. Although I bottled my final lap, but yeah, it was a good overall a good race and good battles. Yeah.
So we did notice that after the safety car restart, after a few laps, you seem to be losing a lot of time. Like your gap to the cars behind was slowing down a lot. So very purposely taking it slow due to any track warnings, or was it just the tires or something like that?
No, I
some other
think it
reason?
was again just the tires. I think my setup, although it was very quick, I was very happy with it, and it really suited my driving style. I think I just have more tire wear than everyone else because my teammate Banat was on at least like 7-8% tire wear less when we were on the same strat. So I think I need to work on the setup in the future, I guess, for the race, set it up a bit better in that way. But yeah. And yeah, thanks to Banat as well. He stayed back after DNF and really helped me with the race engineering and all that. So yeah, thanks to him as well.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say thanks to Banat for causing a safety car, but
I was thinking the
No,
same.
I'm not gonna add that.
I was thinking exactly the same thing as he said, thanks to Banat, and I was expecting the end of the statement to be slightly different. But I mean, you can't deny, regardless of the
Well,
circumstances.
now this is going to spark controversy, isn't it?
Yep. No
Yeah.
comment
Yeah.
whatsoever from our side. Yeah, again, great race victory and carrying on a great string of form from your end and keeping yourself in the championship contention. Great race from you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
And
Yep, I guess that concludes our podium interview for today. Well, that was quite a race. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with us. And we do have the FL League gets resumed, and we do have ACC leagues that are going on. That happens every Friday. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for updates. Follow us on Instagram, and do join our server if you want to take part in these racing action. It'll be really nice to have a lot of people in there.
absolutely, and I think we have a busy week of racing coming up. Endurance at Spa in ACC, and also we'll be heading down south to Brazil in F1. So a lot to look forward to, starting with the Tier-1 on Thursday, and we'll have ACC on Friday and all the other F1 tiers on Saturday and Sunday. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much to Ink and deepakraj for joining me in the commentary box today. It was a pleasure having you lads here, and hopefully you had a good time witnessing this race here with me. And I think that's going to be it from our side today. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time around.